Everybody, Terp keeps bees here. I'm not sure what episode this is. I've lost track. It's been a while. It is a terrifyingly warm November day, and I haven't done an inspection in a while because it's been cold, and honestly, I've been busy. So I'm just going to go in and check things out, give them a mite treatment, and see what's going on. So let's check out the outside of the hive for now. Like I said, it is late November, and I have bees bringing in pollen that are awake. And they had started doing their kind of winter formation thing. It got cold for a second, but yesterday I looked outside and they were doing an orientation flight, which means brood is hatching and they are foraging. So I guess that's kind of good. Like, the more time they have to pull resources for if and when it ever gets cold again, that's great, but it's just kind of alarming that it's the end of November and they're foraging and there's pollen. First impressions are good. They have capped honey all the way to the top. One thing I want to note is they're being really sweet. They're just like really calm, quiet, like little kitteny bees. I guess it not being the prime build-up season is making them just be kind of really chill. I didn't even really smoke them before I came in here. They're just hanging out, but yeah, they've got honey all the way to the top. I might have to put their other honey box on so they can make more honey for the winter if they're still producing. Look at all of this fresh honey. This is really beautiful. The entire top box is full like this. These guys have been working hard. So I am seeing some bothersome beetle activity. You can see this one right here. You can see, if you kind of focus, you can see them scurrying around in there. But from what I've heard, this level isn't bad. And I'm going to put fresh traps in here, so hopefully that'll take care of it. But so far that's the only pest problem I'm seeing, which is great. All I've got is some beetles. Little bastards. Ugh, they're terrible. Here is the last dose of mite treatment I gave them. Looks like they used it all, which is good. So we're going to replace that today just to make sure they're all up on their mites. And this is the little shim I had to put in to give them room to get to it. So what they would do is they'd go through it and it would coat them, and then they'd walk around the hive and it would kind of disperse that way. There is one thing I want to talk to you guys about. So the shim had this little hole in the front, and they blocked it off. And what they blocked that off with is called propolis. And it's a thing that bees make out of resin. Now, since I've become a beekeeper, all my friends send me everything they find about bees, and I love it, and thank you, and don't stop, and I'm so glad you think of me. But one video I kept getting sent is one about this guy who quote-unquote trained his honeybees to do something with pot or marijuana. And I just want to talk about that for a second before any of you get duped into buying some kind of product. I don't exactly know the mechanics under which marijuana works, but my understanding is it has something to do with the resin. And if bees were to be doing something with marijuana, with the THC in it, it would turn into this stuff. It's like really sticky propolis, which you can't really eat it to my knowledge. I know there's like some traditional medicine that does something with it, but it's not honey, it's not consumable, it's bee glue. The thing that they make honey out of is nectar and pollen, so if bees were to be doing something with marijuana, I doubt it would get you high or have any THC in it at all. So, nice try, but I think that guy just sprayed sugar water all over his plants and called a camera crew. They would just make glue out of it. Yep. If I'm wrong, please let me know, people that know marijuana or bees better than I do, but that's my theory on it. Don't buy that guy's pot honey, whatever he's going to make with that. Wrap this up a little earlier than usual because I got into the second box, and man, it's full of honey and everything looks great, but they are cranky. And although I'll defend to the death my assertion that leggings are pants, they are not pants in the context of beekeeping. So what I'm doing, this might be my last inspection for the winter, that is a little sack of menthol, and that is some chemical mite treatment, polyformic acid, I'd have to look. And this is a beetle trap full of olive oil. You can use any kind of oil, but I just use olive oil because the bottle is manageable. I'm going to drop that in there and put some beetle traps on that top box. And I'm going to just let them get back to doing what they're doing. They're doing great. I'm not worried about them. They've got enough food to get through the winter. There's a ton of bees. I think they're doing fine. Well, that was a productive inspection. We know that they have enough food for the winter. Seems like they have a healthy population going on. Like I said, I saw an orientation flight yesterday, so I'm sure there's a queen in there laying brood. You saw 3 methods of treating for pests, which is the mite treatment that we're using, which is Apigard thymol. It's similar in mechanism to formic acid, I think. I remember the decision making that went into this, and it was the best treatment that went with our climate down here in the south. Olive oil for the beetle traps, and menthol for tracheal mites, which mine had earlier, and it was really tragic. I'll do an episode about the various maladies that have afflicted our hives this year. My friend Julia said hers was full of wax moths, which is just dreadful. And we learned that leggings are still pants, except for when beekeeping. Then they're definitely not pants. Ouch. But yeah, looks like they're doing great. So let's check in with them later if it's still freakishly warm. And if not, I'll see you guys in the spring probably.